Hey, this is a new thing we're trying out here. It's called Afterthoughts, where we're kind of hanging out after the show, having a little off the cup kind of reflection, some thoughts, a little bit more in depth on the episode. Let us know what you guys think. Let us know if we should keep doing it. Let us know if you guys are enjoying this Afterthoughts, a little more deeper dive, maybe some other kind of things, maybe a little off topic ish. Let us know what you guys think, and on to the show.
So the whole upholder thing is just something that's just something that I've grown over time to understand. It worked. Being as the questioner tendency inside of me, after looking at everything the world has to offer, just being a upholder makes way more sense.
It does.
You know?
It is. Like I said, I'm just like, damn, that'd be so much easier just being a upholder.
Yeah, but it's not the easiest thing to go against your own tendency for sure. It's not. I suffered for a long time, and I think that's the reason why I just don't do real estate anymore. Is just because that sacrifice there allowed me to become an upholder, and that didn't sit. That wasn't a good time in my life, I guess, honestly.
Yeah. And it also forced you to be an obliger.
Somewhat, but I only tried the upholder obliger approach because that works well for that business. You know what I mean? That's what worked in that industry at that time, but you just run yourself into the ground.
Yep.
It's crazy. Upholder obligers are the worst. Like, you do everything for everybody else and you try to do the things for yourself, but in the end, collapse. So,
well, especially as an upholder, you do everything for everybody and you.
Yeah, but I'm saying as a upholder obliger, you tend more towards other people. The external expectation is greater than the internal.
They feel greater, and you start to slip.
So anyway, now I'm going through school. I was more of the steady, stable upholder. I held things equally accountable on both sides. So it just kind of depends. But going against the grain though is not easy. It's definitely a part of me that don't say, well, maybe that's why I don't want to believe I'm an upholder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. And that's what the thing I'm trying to be cautious of is the confirmation bias. Now that I know this information, it's easy to say, "Oh, that's just because I'm a questioner."
Yeah.
Instead of maybe challenging it, or what, this is a bad side of being a questioner, or this isn't necessary as a questioner. Like, you have the information, you have the answers. Like,
you got to explore that, because even going through the whole upholder obliger phase, that was completely what you're talking about. I was forcing myself to be something, and so I had to constantly ask that, is this what an obliger upholder would do? And it's like, oh yes, it is.
So I just don't want to use that as an excuse. Well, I'm a questioner, that's why I'm doing this dumb shit, and that's why I'm gathering more research. I can't start until I have more information. Like, that's been like a mantra of most of my adult life. It's like, as soon as I get a little more information, then I can start this.
Yeah, but
as soon as I learn a little bit more, I can go and I can become X or Y or whatever.
Yeah, well, we talked about that even towards the end of the last show, is that, use that as part of your analysis.
Right.
Buy the product, do one of the actions that you're investigating, and after doing it, then take in the information. Is it actually working?
And that's what I've been working on, like getting better at. Like, listen, analysis over action time. Because I would sit so long in the action phase, and then you also get that. Sometimes I feel like that imposter syndrome. Like, man, people are gonna know I don't know a whole lot about this yet.
Right, but I think the best way to do that is just say that up front.
Right, and what I've also found on that is I actually know a lot more than I'm giving myself credit for, and I'm more knowledgeable than I'm giving myself credit for. They're like, God dang, you got this shit down. I'm like, man, I'm not. I've literally scratched the surface. So, like, I know experts that aren't as good as you at X topic.
When I first started in the real estate arena, that was it, because I was the questioner. I went to so many things. We did that real estate investor stuff, and it's like I had to go through all of that before I could actually act.
Yeah, right, exactly. Because that's the question. Like,
going through that process, though, we talked about it in the failure episode, right? Is like, going through that process, now all of a sudden when short sales are the thing, I do know what to do, because I spent so much time researching it.
Yeah.
You know, I think a lot of people don't give credit to the whole analytics thing. Doing analytics is actually doing something.
It
It is
is.
taking action.
Yes.
You know, it's just what you maintain in your brain and how much you recognize. It is kind of like the difference between book smart and street smart.
Yeah.
You know, you don't necessarily know how to apply all that you've learned, but
Right.
you still learned. You still have experience.
Yeah.
You spent, you know what I mean? How many hours did you spend doing that?
Oh
That's
yeah.
experience,
Personally.
regardless, for sure.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I get, and sometimes I think I get so deep in something. I'm like, I gotta come up out of this hole. Like, I gotta start doing something. And then sometimes, like, I get so down, like I lose that like enthusiasm or whatever it
You lose
was, and then
drive. Yeah, you lose drive.
yeah.
Okay.
So I
More
get
than
so far
occasionally.
down. I'm like, you know what? I'm not into this anymore. Like, this isn't what I thought it was, or whatever. Like, I was
Do
excited
that.
last week, but not anymore.
That's and that's fine. You
Yeah.
know, I think that's fine while you're trying to find out where you're going.
Yeah.
I think that's fine for people who are out there trying to find something. Like you go down a path, you find out you don't like it, turn around.
Well, yeah. Come back around. Bring it in. Yeah.
You know, it just sucks when you go through 10 years of your life and you're still at this fork in the road. That's the part that sucks. I can agree,
Yeah.
you
And
know.
and I got there too before, and it's like, fuck, what am I doing? Like, I gotta stop this or whatever. I spend so much time analyzing, going to classes and this and that, and yeah. But when I look back, knowing what I know now, it's like that's what I had to do to get to where I'm at, and now I'm happy and I'm comfortable. I'm getting up at 3 a.m. because I have this thing that popped in my head when I'm sleeping. You know,
Yeah. So you got this notepad, just have this notepad
right?
right here.
I have one right by my bed with a pen always there, half dreaming, writing things down.
That's where, you know, that's where dreams sometimes enact consciousness, you know.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Sometimes you need a dream in your mind to remind you of what life is really doing to
yeah.
you. I don't
And that's
know
the
how.
thing. That's a little like kind of hack. If you have a problem or something you're stuck on or you're dwelling on or whatever, pose that question to your subconscious before you go to sleep, and a lot of times you'll dream about the answers. You wake up,
God, I wish I remember my dream. I had a weird dream last night.
and
A
that's why
really
keeping
weird
that
dream.
pen right by your bed and like immediately write when you wake up, immediately writing down stuff that's in your head, because eventually it's just gonna, within a few minutes it'll just speak from your brain.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No,
and it's tough to do.
but that's, to me, that's all part of the process. I think anybody who's been in your shoes, I mean, I was in your shoes once.
Yeah,
You look at 4 or 5 years of your life pass and you're still at the fork in the road.
yeah,
But what you don't realize is that you've traveled 6 or 7 or 8 forks, maybe
hmm
halfway,
hmm
and then you've come back. So don't look at your life as a long journey. Like look at how many
yeah,
paths you've actually attempted,
yeah.
because that's where your mileage has gone.
And that's the thing. You've got to, when you get to that point, you have that frustration or whatever it is. You got to go and you got to, okay, listen, what was I up to all this time? Like, where did I go? Okay, that didn't work. Sometimes like I have that feeling though of like, bro, all I do is talk about this, that, and another, and I don't do shit. Like, but that's part of the process, I think.
It is, unfortunately, that it is part of the process, and you got to go through it,
Yeah.
learn it, and like, you know, again, talking about people in the first and second quarter, like a lot of the people in the first and second quarter, they have the same frustration. They try different things, they don't like it, or they put all their eggs in one basket only to find out that's not the basket they want to be holding.
hmm
You know, you got to drop that and start all over again. And there's nothing wrong with that.
No, yeah, I
Everybody
understand.
everybody's gonna go through that
Yeah.
for sure.
It's once you have that realization, everything after that it's like gravy. But I know a lot of times coming up to that, I'm like, dang, what am I doing now? Like, what am I like? But now I'm like, I'll go through things. I'll look at something. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm super excited. And I'll go. I'm like, this isn't aligned with what I want to do. And that's the thing I can say now is this isn't aligned with my goals. This isn't aligned with something I want to do right now. So I'm just gonna let it be.
Yeah. But even coming to that I think that helps
That takes a long time.
questioners, but it takes a long time. But that's the heart of the questioner, right?
hmm
You need to justify things for yourself.
Yeah.
And at one moment in time, you were doing something that justified it.
hmm
Come to find out what you're doing it's not really justifying what you intended to do, maybe something like that. I don't know. Is that what you're trying to say?
Kind of, or it's like you get an idea like, oh, this is gonna be fun, this is gonna be great, and then you start kind of getting into it and whatever. You're like, this isn't what I thought it was gonna be, or this isn't what I wanted to do, or whatever. Like I get a lot of those things. I see a lot of the things like that.
But again, I think that you're not alone in that,
No,
and I
I know
think
that.
that you coming to the realization that this path is not something that you want is ultimately going to bring you back to the fork, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But you'll be heading down another path, and then you'll be able to realize that like faster, quicker.
Yeah, right now it's when I see something new or some technology or something, it's just like I can get quicker at saying, I'm not gonna implement this, I'm not gonna adopt it, I'm not gonna go down this whatever. I'll read the article or whatever. Okay, cool, and I just move on.
Then you move on. You know, take something you invested time, money, money, energy, resource into it. Take a little bit from it, right? I've invested something. I'm going to pull something out of it.
Yeah.
Now I'm going to come back to the fork, and then I'm going to go down a different path.
Yeah, and like I said, it's now that I have a very clear and concise goal and path I want to go down. It's easy to just, when I come to something, it's like, nope, this isn't where I want to go, and I just go next. And oh, this isn't this. Yes, no, and it's easier to navigate now.
But that process, I think, is part of growing up, and I think that people in the first and second quarter should be doing that.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I think, like especially the obligers stuff, they get stuck in that
Well,
job or in that thing.
I think for obligers, I think they get stuck going down paths that other people want them to go down, not necessarily themselves.
Yeah, and then I can't let down my boss, I can't let down my family, I can't let down my friends.
But see, the thing about the questioner tendency is that they can come back to the fork once they realize that it's not within them. I don't think the obligers, if they start heading down a path and other people are keeping them accountable to staying on the path, they're going to go deep.
They will. Path. How many times have you seen people that are like, I hate my job? Oh, well, how long have you worked there? 30 years. What? Are you fucking crazy? Well, I gotta stay here. And before I was like, that's stupid. It makes no sense. Now I'm like, oh, you're an obliger. People are counting on you.
But I see it all the time too. I mean, especially when I was going to school, like I see people going down career paths, or they're getting into fields. I was like, I'm not sure if you understand what I want to get a business degree. Like, I'm not sure you really understand.
Because your dad said so.
Yeah.
It's
like business you don't necessarily need a degree for. Like, that's something you learn in the field. You get the degree so that you can get the job, but once you get the job, it's completely different than what is taught in school.
Yeah. But that's the thing, like getting people to read this book or at least know this information. Like, you can look and say, fuck, I'm an obliger. I hate this job because people count on me.
Right.
And they can pull the Tony Robbins, never again, no more.
But for the obliger, they can't.
Jerry Maguire, I'm out.
Question.
Come see me. I'll take you with me.
I have Mr. Black People.
I will Jerry Maguire you out of your situation. Call me, holla. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. But I mean, it's like, I don't think it's that easy for obligers. It's not.
It can't. I know it's not. I know it's not.
Because even like I mentioned in the show, okay, this doesn't make sense to you. You want to go into obliger rebellion, yet obliger rebellion is going to kill you because you're not on any path. Because there's no longer that external accountability coming into you, and you're stuck. You have no drive of your own. You yourself are not able to motivate yourself to move in any path. You just found yourself down the wrong path. You're stuck. You can't even come back to the fork.
Yeah.
That's a horrible place to be.
And now you're rebelling against those that had you on that path.
Right. And now you're stuck. Yep. And that's a horrible place to be. For any obliger that's out there in that situation, they need to go get a new accountability partner, right? To bring them back to the fork, or to find new friends. You know what I mean? Surround yourself with different people so that you can at least get going in a different path. Hopefully your friends or your accountability manager is in line with what you're thinking. You know what I'm saying?
Or you've got to pour your heart out to them to get them to say, this is how I feel. This is why I'm stuck. I need somebody to pull me out of this quicksand.
Right, but they need, if you're in the rebellion, you
Yeah.
need a new leader that's going to
Yes.
lead you down a path in which you're not going to rebel against.
Yeah. Yeah. And
That's
that's when
kind
you're gonna have to be vulnerable a bit and say, listen, help me get out of here. Because I can't do it myself.
yeah. And that's, and for the obliger, I think that's why a lot of them don't, even though they've been stuck in this job for 20, 30 years, they don't do anything about it because the alternative is worse.
Yeah. Yeah, they can't. Yeah, they really just can't because it's probably hard to find another person, especially who you're gonna look to, a questioner or
Yeah, or what other job are you going to find? But
yeah,
there's times in which if you sense that coming on, you can look for new friends early,
yeah,
get them to support you in this new idea that's going on, so that way you already have a support system in place before you take action, and that way when you rebel, you can rebel real quickly, and then with this new group, you can kind of just follow them on a new path. Maybe, I don't know. That might be
something we didn't touch on the show is that like obliger companionship
companionship.
expectations of each other, like holding each other accountable, like
That's
that's
actually
kind of
pretty good.
that's clean because there's so many obligers, and then if you come to one of us, a questioner or upholder, we don't want to deal with you.
Yeah, because you
But
can't walk
what's
yourself down your own path.
right,
Yeah.
but which is what you need. So it's like that's how these people can get stuck a lot. Dang.
Yeah.
I just
I
can't.
mean, and it just but for the rebel, that's their life, Whether
Yeah,
they want to
right.
go down a path or whether down somebody else wants them to go down a path, they're not going to do it.
Yeah.
The rebel has to kind of just dig deep and find the core value of themselves. And once they find themselves, then they can kind of go on a path that's, self-righteous, and they don't have problems with that. The other thing I think that the book mentioned is for rebels, they find a system so they can rebel against the system. Like everybody knows
Yeah.
those employees, and you know what I mean? Like this place sucks. I hate this place.
Yes.
But they come to work every day.
Yeah.
But the difference between that person and the obliger person is the rebel loves being there.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Or they love being not loved there or whatever.
Yeah, whatever. Like they put this facade on, like they hate this place. This place sucks. Why you been here for 30 years? Yet that's part of who they are. So it works for them.
Yeah.
That's
That was
kind
a
of
funny. Yeah, that was a funny story from the book too, where she's like, the one rebel was like, I rebel against being a rebel, and that's how I get shit done.
Yeah.
It's like that's clean. Like, how did you figure that out? Like, I'm gonna be a rebel against being a rebel, and then boom, like,
and then that's it. Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
it's like, oh wow, that's creative though. Like, imagine like if you can harness that creativity of a rebel.
yeah, sky's the limit. That's the limit. But see, that's the other thing too, is like if you're a upholder or a questioner trying to deal with this rebel, like you can be creative, right? And like use that reverse psychology or say things to them that's gonna make them want to do the opposite. It's like, you don't really want to wash my car today. And then when they get
and you're not very good at it anyway.
And then
really?
Yeah.
Let me show you how shiny this mug is gonna be. Got him.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Like that's slick.
That's super slick.
Stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's just ways, and then rebels can do that to themselves too, right? Like they can set the game up so that they can win.
That's the trick, though, is to know that and then like trick yourself into winning.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
so hard as a rebel.
It is, and you got to constantly change things up, do something new all the time, because once you get into that pattern,
freedom is your discipline.
It's no longer freedom anymore.
Yeah, so, that's crazy.
But there's people that trick themselves, and then there's rebels that find their true way. They find out who their core is and what they stand for. Then at that point, what they stand for is their freedom, because they're doing what they actually want to do.
And at any time in history, this is probably a great time to be a rebel, because you can really unconform and still thrive.
You can. I don't know. I mean, definitely there are a lot more freedoms for you out there. You know what I mean? You got gay marriage now. You're a rebel. You want to go do it.
Yeah.
Go do it. It's against the norm.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, you can do so many
Any
things now.
any religion is accepted now. Any race is accepted now.
Yeah,
So
yeah, and you
sky's the
could, yeah, be free and live on the road or whatever, and still make decent money and still contribute and whatnot, and be a straight up rebel.
But then at the same time, because I think that's like the popular thing. There's a lot of personalities out there that are rebels. It's
Do you, do you think they're faking it being a rebel?
possibly,
And that's what
possibly.
she was talking about in the book, where she
Yeah.
was Taylor Swift, I think it was, where she was saying,
Oh,
like, yeah, you talk about being a rebel, but
well,
I
you
know
seem
you're an
like an
upholder.
upholder.
But like how? But what gets the views and the clicks, right? I mean, being
Yeah,
a
but that's
rebel
what I'm
is that
saying. Like,
thing.
there's a lot of rebel
Yeah.
personalities. I
I
don't
mean, I
think
could
they're
easily go
true.
on social media and be a rebel. That's kind of fun,
I don't
actually.
think they're true rebels. But getting back to what I said in the show earlier is like everybody's had a rebel phase. Everybody's had one.
Yeah. Whether
Even if
you're
you're a
faking it
upholder,
or
yeah,
not.
whether you're a upholder, whether you're a obliger, whether you're a rebel naturally or a questioner, you've always rebelled against something at some point, for sure.
Yeah,
If
it's either obliger rebellion or questioner rebellion, or yeah, some.
Yeah, but even upholders rebel at
Yeah,
times
upholders
too.
rebellion.
Like
Yeah, right.
you don't want to be
Exactly.
controlled. Anytime anybody feels exploited for any reason,
Mhm.
you're gonna rebel
Yeah.
you
Oh
know,
yeah.
over that threshold.
Yeah. It's easy,
Yeah.
and that's the thing. Too, I noticed that now. Like why are you throwing a tantrum? Oh, I know why you're throwing a tantrum. It's a rebellion. It's a Bidra rebellion. Like, oh, I get it.
Yeah.
And again, but it's hard to like sit back and be like, wait, let me give you some facts about this, and then you should be fine. And it's like, no, not
Yeah.
gonna work. It's not gonna work. I know it's not gonna work. Like, I get
Nope.
it now.
Yeah.
All my facts ain't gonna do nothing for you.
No, for the obliger of rebellion, if you're trying to fix it, you definitely have to make them feel unexploited
Yeah,
and take care of that and treat that well. If you're an obliger that's in rebellion, like we talked about earlier, that's like the worst place to be. Hopefully the situation will resolve itself because you as an obliger may not have what's inside of you to make things happen,
yeah.
or a different accountability manager or partner possibly. Yeah, it's kind of you know it's
Some
rough.
interesting insights and introspectives, and
Yeah, yeah, it's good.
it's good stuff to think about. That's this is why I love the book so much.
Yeah, I get it. Like I said,
Yeah,
it's grown on me.
yeah,
I just me myself, like in talking about it earlier, I've gone from questioner rebel to upholder, and I've done that transition, and like I it was a pretty, I don't say devastating, it was a life-changing event that
yeah,
happened. Definitely was taking new boundaries, but to
yeah.
go from one extreme to the other is just, it's uncomfortable. So I understand why she's saying you fit well within one, but I don't think I fit well within one. That's just my that's
I
my
I I feel
opinion.
I feel free and comfortable sitting like just inside the rebel tendency from my questioner side. Like that's like a nice sweet spot for me. I like that because I don't know. It frees up. If I don't know, it frees up my mind. It frees up my thoughts and stuff. Like I've embraced some of that. Like, fuck this shit. I don't need any of this. I don't need your bullshit. You're dumb. Shut up. Like I'm gonna do what I want. Like I don't know. It's nice.
It is, it is.
I know.
But
I know. I know. It can and does turn people off, but I'm like, that's fine. Like I I'm okay with who I am and what I'm up to.
right.
I don't need your approval, and like that in itself is a freeing thing.
Yeah, it is. Like, freedom is a discipline, right?
You
Like
know,
that's what it is. But being part of the upholder realm now, like, that doesn't get you very far in society.
doesn't. And
It
I've
doesn't,
gotta. And
you know.
by embracing that, I've also learned I gotta shut up.
Yeah, because
That's hard.
not only getting along with society, but also just making contributions.
Yeah.
People, you try to make contributions that are helpful towards people, and they just see you as this prick.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, this arrogant
who
asshole.
doesn't care about anything, and
Yeah.
it's like, this guy's just giving me handouts because he feels bad because he's hurt me. you know They don't actually sit down and take a look at, that this is something, there are things that you do actually care about.
Yeah,
and
it's like
this is
I'm
one
trying
of
to
them.
help you. That's why I'm talking to you still.
Yeah, you know what I mean? And like, but you get taken again, you don't fit into society. When people look at who you are in general, they confuse that
Yeah.
with your actions.
Right.
Your actions are not out there towards other people or to whatever. Your actions are for self-preservation.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah. Because I mean, personally, I was like, I've got to keep my focus, and I've got to keep my energy where it needs to be most productive. Like if I'm gonna be able to give as much and do as much as I want, I can't worry about this stuff. I can't be a part of this. I can't be a part of these conversations. I can't waste my time in that
Right.
stuff. I've got to stay here and I got to stay focused. Like, if you feel like I'm being a dick, like, bro, sorry, but that's not, you don't get it. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And that's not me because I'm not explaining it well and I'm not carrying it.
But that's like, to people who don't have that kind of mindset or they don't have those kinds of goals, they don't understand it.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
sure you and I both have lost friends in that
Oh, yeah.
manner. But,
Oh, yeah.
I'm not here not talking to you because I don't care about you.
Right.
It's just, I got a million things I got to do. And at being an upholder, it's like, I got this long list. I'm sorry that you're number 257 on the list, but when I get there, I'm going to call you.
Yeah, and we're going to be 100. Yeah, it's going to be 100.
But some people take that injury. Sometimes people take that injury, they take it for more than what it's worth, not what it actually is. So.
Hey, thanks for joining us on this special experimental episode of Afterthoughts. Let us know what you guys think if we should keep going. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe on YouTube and all your favorite social media and podcast platforms. And until next week, have a great night.